life journey, something which is common to all of us. I would say most of us. The foundation of proactive work starts from this diagram. So I want to welcome each one of you to observe this along with me and to see our life journey, which is something shared among all of us. So in between birth and death, there are different stations that are almost fixed for most of the humanity. So there is this phase called preschooling phase. Then there is this phase called schooling phase till 12th. Obviously from 8th class onwards, another phase starts called career exploration. And then you get into entrance exam. And then there is a crisscross of school, entrance exam, and then you get into college. And then from college, you choose a career. And then it keeps happening. And then money becomes an important aspect of life. And somewhere in between, while you're dealing with money, we get married. And there are a lot of career transitions also keeps happening in that life journey. Over here, we are around 30, 28, 30, 40, whatever. And then we become parents. Our health issues after 30 starts hitting us. You know, the youthfulness that we were experiencing earlier is kind of, diminishing. And there are health issues that we start taking a toll on us. Then taking care of parents becomes an important responsibility. Unfortunately, losing parents is one of the hard facts of life, laws of nature. Then children's decision, which is the same loop. You know, which preschool, which school, which career, which entrance exam, what college, as a parent, what career job, money, marriage, and then, it goes on and on. And then while our career also starts moving ahead, we hit our retirement age. And in the journey, we become grandparents. And then just few years, before death, we call it the post-retirement phase, and then ultimately death. So if you notice, these are some journeys of life which are common to most of us, except if someone has taken up monkhood. Otherwise, these are like fixed stations. The question that we've been asking ourselves for last 12 years is, has my education prepared me to live life powerfully in all these journeys of life? And the other question that we've been asking ourselves is, what does it take to live life powerfully in all these journeys? And I have been in the quest for last 12 years to really dive deep, do some deep research on each of them at the micro level and identify what would it take to live an extraordinary life in all these journeys of life. Thank you. Now, I want to walk you through our design process, how we invent or create whatever we create. So one of the most important phase for us is called understanding user. Be it a workshop that we are designing or an environment that we are designing or any innovation that we are doing, the foundation of our work is to understand the user like no other. And we have a very structured process for doing it. So I'd like to introduce you to the user canvas. Acknowledgement to Alexander Osterwelder and his team for doing this phenomenal work on understanding user. So this is a mother canvas. What we intend to do is to understand the user. We focus on different aspects. Number one, this is the white zone where we look into the functional job of a user. Depending on the life journey where we are doing research, we look into what are the different activities that one is involved in doing. What is he doing? The functional jobs. Then the emotions that he is experiencing and the detailed list of the emotions and how he wants to be perceived in the social circle. And in these different aspects, we try to look at the fear, frustrations and obstacles an individual is facing. And also we'll try to look at what are his needs, wants and measure of success. Basically, the entire aspect of understanding user is to identify while doing these activities, where is he, which is this red zone, and where he would like to be, which is the green zone. And for that, we have a 26 feet long board. And that's our understanding user board, as you can see. And how do we come up with insights for filling up this is by playing various roles. The first one is called the journalist. So the journalist is someone who would look into the conversations with those users. Typically, I still remember my initial journey as an innovator started talking to people. When I was at, when I dropped out from my college, I would go and interview hundreds and hundreds of students, asking them, what are your fears? What are your obstacles? What are your measure of success? So I was basically playing the role of journalist. And the more I was talking to different people, the more I could see the similarities between all of us, as my conversation grew. So that's the role of journalist. Very important for us. Anyone who is a part of my team and we're innovating on something, we definitely make sure this is the foundation. We go and talk to different users and understand. Just by talking, we get so many insights. So that's one of the important roles of Uzoo Labs, the journalist role. The second one is data detective. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. There are people who have already done tons of work in a similar field, and we want to take inspiration and learn from those. So our data detective role helps us decode the existing work humanity have already done, be it in India or abroad. And we have a very structured process playing the data detective role, and it's something where you love collecting different inputs, data from various sources. So that's data detective role. And as you move forward, I'll walk you through the anthropologist, one of the foundation role that we play to innovate whatever we are innovating. In fact, I take my inspiration from IDEO, the world leading design thinking firm. And when I read the first time the book called 10 Phases of Innovation, one of the role was anthropologist. That was the first time when I was introduced to the world of anthropologist. So who is an anthropologist? Anthropologist is someone who would not just talk with the user, who would not try to deduct data from left, right and center and copy paste. Anthropologist is someone who would dive deep into deep observation of user. How is he actually experiencing life? And he would observe deeply. And a typical role of an anthropologist is play or observe a day of a life of a user. Some of the massive breakthroughs across the companies have come by playing this role. IDEO takes pride in actually expressing that the foundation of their success is playing the role of an anthropologist like no other. And in Proactive Eye also, we take pride in actually believing that anthropology is the foundation role that helps us get massive insights into the understanding user. And the more we have played this role, we have realized the depth of understanding that we have got. And in fact, all the workshops that we have designed, the 8 building blocks, the different environments, and even the different innovation that we do at Solify and other places, the best insights that we have got had been by playing the role of an anthropologist. So that's anthropologist, taking a camera with you, taking your notepad and just going there, observing the user, not talking to them. I remember long back, my initial role of an anthropologist started where I would just go and observe and sit in the classroom, not talking to anyone, neither student nor teachers, just observe what's happening. Earlier, I would either be a teacher or I would be a student, but never just an observer of a third party. And when I started playing that role, a lot of understanding, a lot of dynamics at play started to unfold, which became the raw material and foundation for deep innovation. So that's anthropologist, my friend. Now, as we move forward, I'd like to introduce you to the another role called impersonator. So impersonator is kind of similar to the role of an anthropologist, but for us, it's very, very different. So, impersonator is someone who would experience being the user himself. You know, one of the case studies that I initially read during my journey as an innovator was in IDEO. When they wanted to innovate around the medical device, which is the CT scan, one of the IDEOer played the role of an impersonator. He actually requested the hospital authorities to walk him through. Children would go through a medical test of CT scan. And that's where they realized that while a child is going into the machine, the horror that he experiences. And then obviously during the exploration stage, they came up with inspiration from the world of Walt Disney and invented something beautiful. So impersonator for us is also like this, In fact, Solify, our gifting initiative started from the role of an impersonator, where if I want to give a gift to someone, I just really become clueless what to give, and the pain that I experience in the gift giving experience. So that became the foundation, and we started Solify. So impersonator as a role is foundation of innovation, and I personally believe if we genuinely play the role of an impersonator, we'll be able to empathize with the situation at large, and also give us a very strong foundation to invent something new. So that's the role of an impersonator. And that's how we understand users, from these different roles. And there are others that I'll introduce you at the later stage of the experience. But journalist, data detective, anthropologist, and impersonator are very, very powerful roles that we play as innovators at Proactive Eye at Uzoo Lab. Thank you. So as we keep exploring, we have a very interesting ritual. So if anybody comes out with a very interesting out of the box idea, we do ting, and everybody knows, oh wow, there's something new happening. So that's one of our ritual of coming out of some very interesting idea. So are you coming to join me sometime for exploration? I really look forward to. Any which ways, as you can see, these are different boards. And as we continue our journey of exploration, we keep putting out all our ideas in these boards. Some of the ideas that right now you can see is the communication mastery workshop that we recently designed to another level. We keep elevating our workshops. So these are our exploration around the 6th block communication mastery workshops. And yeah, this is how the exploration board is all about. And we have a very structured structures for doing understanding user and exploring. In the third phase, I'm going to talk about the testing part, how we go about testing whatever we have created and basically selecting what would be the best possible viable solution. So let's move to the testing phase now and the testing experience and the testing board. Let's come. So this is a testing board, and over here we play a role of a scientist. Scientist is someone who dive deep into experiments, looking into different pros and cons of possibilities. And in the testing phase, we primarily focus on designing a test, what to test, and the learnings derived out of those tests. So we have a dedicated test card and a learning card for the testing. The ultimate goal of the testing is to really identify whether the user, whatever we are inventing, we are able to solve the problem for the user, or we are able to create a solution, or we are able to create the possibilities that would make a real difference in the user's life. So that's a testing card. It really helps us, dive deep into the arrangement of dreams with the practicalities of things, where the rubber meets the road. And this is a phase which I personally don't enjoy much, because you have to do a lot of analytical thinking. And obviously we have a team who would dive deep into testing, and even I, and I'm still exploring, becoming better and testing. So that's my evolution. I'm very good at evolution, but testing is something that I keep, a little bit of struggle. But yeah, that's how it is. But what happens is the structure of testing, the testing card and the learning card, which we have learned from Strategizer, has really helped us, design what to test and how to test and do what after the test. So that's our testing board and the role that we play as of a scientist. And ultimately, when all of these things comes into one possible thing, we try to fix that into our business model canvas, which is making it even sustainable financially. So that's the business model canvas for us. And that's how at Uzoo Lab, we invent, design, and create whatever we create. So thank you for watching this, and I really loved explaining to you the process, and we're constantly evolving. These are the 3 fundamental steps, which are non-linear in nature: understanding user, exploring possibilities, and testing. It's like juggling, the 3 balls. And I'm in fact going to do the juggling in a couple of minutes. Thank you. So if I want to give you an analogy, this is exactly how the 3 phases is: understanding user, exploring, and testing. This one is the testing. And to give you an analogy, they're not like you have to do understanding user first. You can go any step. So basically it's non-linear in nature. And you've got to juggle with all the 3 all the time to, come up with innovative possibilities. That's how we do our research. That's how we do innovation. And that's how we work at Uzoo Labs. The foundation of Proactive AI. The foundation of 8 building block. The foundation of all the environments. The foundation of my life. Thank you. As we reflected on the life journey, I want to share how I created the 8 building blocks and also the vision board of Proactive AI. Now, I would actually go and interview a lot of people, especially during my initial years. And my target audience would be people from 13 to 24. And when I was interviewing them, I observed the challenges, the fears and frustrations, which were very, very similar to what I was experiencing. And I started to scratch my head. Oh, maybe their challenges are my challenge, or maybe my challenges are the same, or even their challenge. And that discovery led me to realize that as far as education is concerned, there are something fixed each human being want to develop into. And there are few things which are variable in nature, which is an individual choice. For example, concentration while studies is something that each one of us want to develop into. But to become a tennis player or to become a chartered accountant is a choice that would have an individual depending on their respective choices. So as I dive deep more and more and more on different aspects, I discovered that there are fundamentally 8 subjects or 8 building blocks that I call are the foundation of human quest for education. It's like each one of us want to develop into, and that's my observation. And you don't have to believe in me, with my, conducting workshops for 24,000 plus participants across the country, and personal observation and their experiences have made me, constantly realize that's the truth. So as we dive deep into different aspect, you will say, this is what I want to develop, this is what I want to learn, this is what I want to learn. As we keep exploring layers and layers of human quest and desire for education, I've been able to put them, crystallize them into 8 different subjects of life. Interestingly, in our academic journey, we tend to kind of not really take them very seriously, but are very, very foundation of our life. So what are those 8 building blocks? The first one is called 10x focus. So while we are in the academic journey, what are the major challenge? Concentration, playfulness, lack of focus, ability to understand, apply whatever we have learned, and even generate something new. So as we dive deep into the academic challenges, the core one, we'll realize we have not really worked upon them. So the 10x focus workshop is designed around not the content, but how we learn, how we approach academics. Similarly, we have another block called happiness. Decision making happens to be the foundation of every human being's life. But how many times have we really dived deep into understanding how do we take decisions in life? What is my relationship with every unit in this entire existence? And what is this entire existence all about? Who am I? What am I here for? Are some of these fundamental questions and quests that each one of us dive deep into. And this workshop is designed to answer some of the deepest questions that we may have. Probably we know or we may not know. The third one is called personal strength. Each one of us are gifted with some unique strength. It's like the gift of nature. But have you discovered yours? So, personal strength workshop is about trying to understand the natural pool of talents that you could be gifted with. You know, all that we learn in our academic journey is knowledge and skills. But the discovery of talent is very distinct learning. In personal strength, we actually dive deep into helping user identify their strengths and talents like world class way. In fact, one of our environments is also called Talent Lab, where we have extended the personal strength workshop into an environment where we are setting up talent labs across the country. The first one is coming in Delhi, the second one is coming in Kolkata recently. Fourth is dreams and action. Uh, you know, they say most of the dream die in the, deathbed. We have those dreams and we kind of don't chase it. And the fundamental reasons are internal barriers and some external barriers, the circumstances of life. But have we ever been taught the art of really chasing our dreams and the art of choices so that we can take effective choices which can lead us towards creating what matters to us? So this workshop is about creating a life you love, dreams and action. Also, inventing yourself. We all deal with our individual identities because of our past experiences. So this workshop dives deep into handling identity issues and also inventing new possibilities, literally inventing a life you love. That's the possibility of dreams and action. Fifth is innovation engineering, the art of creating new products, new services, new environments, anything new, anything innovative. But what is the process of inventing? How do you approach design thinking? How do you approach any innovation? How do you identify the gaps and translate those gaps into some dive deep understanding and translate them into new products or services? Oh, this innovation engineering workshop is an epitome of value proposition design, design thinking itself, and even lateral thinking, a beautiful concoction mixed together called innovation engineering. In fact, I started my entire journey teaching innovation engineering earlier, and as I kept diving deep into the user needs of humanity, I stumbled upon 8 building blocks. The next is communication mastery, one of my favorites. Disagreements and disappointments happens to be the foundation, or rather one of the core issues that humanity deals with. As social human beings, we are always dealing with some disagreements and disappointments with other people, be it at family level or at the work level. But how do you handle disagreements and disappointments would lay the foundation of your growth and the environment in which you live in. Unfortunately, the more being from a joint family, living with 43 people, also observing the world around, I see human beings genuinely lack ability to handle the disagreements and disappointments. I have been one of them. Not that I don't, I'm not, I'm able to handle all my disagreements and disappointments today, but I'm telling you, there is an exponential shift in my ability to resolve most of my conflicts. And this is one of the very, very powerful workshop which we have created, about handling disagreements and disappointments. Communication mastery is not about just talking, blah, 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 effectively or trying to show off in public. It's about really understanding and listening, having a deep empathetic listening skills, and also having a deep ability to communicate in a way you are able to resolve and create better results and better relationships. In fact, one of the environments that we have conceptualized out of communication mastery is the family school. And as I observed my own family and the families at large, I realized one of the very challenge that most of the families are dealing with is their communication issues. And then I started wondering, like we have family doctors, why can't we have family coaches, or the communication coaches? And that's how we conceptualize the entire design thinking, the family school, and we are really working towards the manifestation of it. The seventh block is live health, where we try to understand and decode the world of health. I think it's very important to cut the clutter out of confusion around the world of health. So the world of live health workshop is about, having answers to some of the deepest quests that we may have around the world of health. In fact, we have designed a beautiful scale. In one literally scale, you'll be able to decode all the health and the solutions, the universal solutions of the health in that one particular thing. No matter who's doing whatever, you'll be able to understand the deeper structures of health like no other, which are universal in nature. So the question that we ask is, if God had created health, how would he teach health to the world? And that's where we kind of thinking, and we're still working on it, evolving our health curriculum. But live health is again very, very powerful, and the seventh block of of Proactive Eye. The last one is Money Masters. For last 3 years, I've been into it for, I would say, really working hard for last 3 years around Money Masters. And Money Masters is about the financial literacy, financial ability, the financial strength. Today, the way the world is moving, I think it's very important that everybody learn the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis, the personal finance subject, which is the foundation of well-being for humanity. I think, somewhere money, the way the society is designed, money becomes a very important aspect of every human being's life. But to learn it in a very structured way, like really dive deep way, is very important, critical element to live life powerfully. And that's why Money Masters. So these are 8 building blocks which constitutes a very foundation of every human being quest to learn and dive deep into. I still remember I was sharing this with one of the chief advisor of All India Council for Technical Education, AICT, and when sir heard this entire 8 building block, he said, Varun, if I'm given a choice, I would make sure that 8 building blocks are really taught to every youth of the country, and then everything else is left to choice for them to learn. I personally feel these 8 building blocks are the real human quest, and my experience with conducting workshop for 24,000 plus participants have made me realize the need of this as the foundation for life. And the last one is community study program, wherein an individual, a youth, after he completes the 8 building block, dives deep into learning his own local community, understanding the aspects and design of his local community, and create a project which is for the community, and create team and teamwork so that he causes his leadership to express himself, and also as an expression of his gratitude for his local community. I took inspiration of community study program from Thailand, the University of Thailand. Over there, every youth goes through something called community study program. And I took inspiration from there, and I thought, India, every youth must undergo something like this to be able to have patriotic feeling for their local community. In fact, one of my reasons to have my innovation lab in Satna is because of one of my community study program that I did many years back. So that's what our vision board is. And each block has got various environments, and I'll talk about the environments later because it'll be too much for you to consume. But that's what 8 building block is and the vision board of Proactive Eye. Thank you for listening. And And what to say? Bas, just expressing my gratitude for you to be listening to this. Thank you so much.